For our word project or our word drawing, we're actually going to create a three-dimensional word to begin with. So I chose the word epic here, and I just want to show you some different ways that I know to create the three dimensions. We're using small strips of paper. We'll use some white glue, and then of course we'll need some scissors as well. What I did first was I created my word on my piece of paper, kind of figuring out how I want to place things down. You can see my lines from the word that I chose. The word that you choose has to have at least 4 letters or more. And what I need to do is make this strip of paper stand up on my page. So I do that a couple of different ways. One way that I have seen students do this is they have taken and just placed down their letters, and it kind of depends on what letters you have, and they just kind of place the glue down and set this right on top. This style has never helped me out. This is what I always need to do, and it makes it a little bit better, holds it firmer for me. I'm taking little tiny strips, little snips out of my paper, and I'm doing this maybe every inch or a little bit less depending on the curve that I need to make. I'm making this curve right now, and what I do is I take that and fold those strips down so that I can go ahead and add a little bit of glue on these flaps that I've created. And then that's going to allow me to place this down a little bit better. See how it helps me bend my paper? And I might have to do it in portions. So I set this down and I have to hold it in place for a minute or so to have it hold its shape. Once I've held it for just a little bit, it's going to hold its place. I'll finish that up here. One thing that I did over here with this E is I made that little loop. And I do that by making a slice on one side, and then a little bit further down, I make a slice on the other side. Then I take those 2 slices and I can kind of intertwine them to make my loop. Again, to glue it down then, I'm just going to make little snips along the bottom and make flaps. So then I take this and angle it all out so that I can make my flaps and place it down. That's how I went about that one. Now, if my word does not fill up my whole space, you of course can add additional things, so maybe just some shapes and lines. And I'm going to ask you to fill up your place a little bit. So maybe I'll add something like that along the top or along the bottom. We want our page to be fully interesting. So if your word does not take up the whole space, such as mine, then you're going to be adding a couple of extra details on your sculpture.